Perhaps sometimes we have some misguided ideas about what next generation consoles are going to bring us with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Maybe we have some expectations that could possibly be just too high. We don't know. At the end of the day, I think we're going to get some impressive pieces of hardware, but I also think that maybe we set the bar a little bit too high from the outset. Again, what generation have we really expected anything in particular? You know what I mean? I can go back and game. I've been gaming since the NES days in the 80s, and when the Super Nintendo came out or the Genesis came out, I didn't really have any kind of idea about why I was upgrading. Just, I knew 16 bits was better than 8, but there was no real reason as to why I was going to upgrade. Or even after that, there was no real reason other than prettier graphics. And I think that people nowadays are maybe a little bit too smart for their own good, or claim to be too smart for their own good. So it comes back to bite them in the butt a little bit. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews. Back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. Again, if you really want to help with the channel, all you got to do is give me a like. I put in a lot of work on these videos, and I appreciate the feedback and stuff like that. If you really want to support, hit the bell so you're notified of everything as soon as it drops. Again, thank you guys so much for checking out my stuff. I've been making a lot of changes and implementing a lot of interesting things and features here, and it's really thanks to your guys' feedback. So thank you to all the new subscribers that have subscribed lately. You guys rock. Thank you to all the old subscribers, even the people that aren't subscribers that just watch my videos. I definitely much appreciate it. So anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about this because it came out. We didn't know this before. Developer kind of leaked it, let it be known. I think that it's a really good thing that we have some expectations for next gen, but at the same time, when you look at it and you see things start to come up, and maybe you're not having as much of a big jump in the next generation as what a lot of people thought. So what I'm trying to get at is, it came out that it looks like the medium, that timed Xbox Series X exclusive, is not even only going to be on current gen. Microsoft showed it off at their digital event and in May, and it was supposed to be like this big next gen thing, and it ends up it's going to be 30 frames per second. Same thing, it seems like Assassin's Creed, it's going to be 30 frames. Everybody told me, no, there's not going to be 30 frame games on the Series X. It's a beast, it's a monster, it's this, it's that, it's that. And I'm like, listen, you're setting your expectations way too high. Okay, first of all, it's not really an issue of can it do it or whatever. It really comes down to these developers have the right to their own vision. They put forth the effort and they do what they want. It's their games. Anybody that thinks it's an excuse and goes, oh, there's no excuses for this game not to be 60 frames, right? You know what that is? That's an armchair person, not in the business, not creating games, not having worked on the Xbox or the PlayStation, saying that. That's an armchair person, okay? So, for me to go, oh, there's no reason that this shouldn't be 60 or 120 or a billion frames per second, right? That's pretty ignorant on my part if I were to say that. It's ignorant on these other people's parts to say that or to suggest that, okay? First of all, these developers have their own vision. They can choose to use the power of these consoles however they want, right? It's their prerogative. There's no mandate by Microsoft, there's no mandate by Sony to have them do 60 frames or 120 frames or whatever. If they want to push graphical fidelity over frame rate on these consoles, they're allowed to do that. So the medium doing 30 frames per second on Xbox Series X, not a big deal. I also told you a year ago, more than a year ago, expect 30 frames per second still, right? Yes, we're going to see more options for 60. Yes, we might even see options above that. But at the same time, expect 30, expect things like that to continue to keep going on, because at the end of the day, developers like to make pretty games and they want their games to look gorgeous, and that's probably the easiest way for them to do it, is to take advantage of the ray tracing, of the hardware capabilities, and use it there as opposed to the frame rate alone. So if you're an Xbox Series X fan or an Xbox fan and then you're disappointed that there's going to be a 30 frames per second or multiple 30 frames per second games on your platform, maybe just kind of blame yourself because you maybe set your expectations up a little bit high there. Look, when it came to PlayStation 5, people think I slant more towards the PS5 lately. I really just go where the games are. I never really go, oh man, all these games better be 60 frames or I'm out. I never put myself in that position. I never said all games are going to be 60. Quite the opposite, right? I said developers are still going to be able to, do what they want and get the most out of the machines that they want, and it's going to be up to them at the end of the day, and as it should be. Now, with that being said, this really kind of puts to bed a lot of the arguments that, possibly Xbox Series X is quote-unquote that much more powerful. I'm not saying that it's not more powerful. What I'm simply saying is that it's not as powerful as some people have probably led you on to believe. One of the big things we kept hearing was how Dirt 5 was going to be 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X, despite the fact that Gran Turismo 7, they've already said they're shooting for 120 frames. So people still didn't believe that the PS5 was capable of doing these. Again, we're starting to see that's not exactly the case. Now we get some new details on this game in the latest issue of the official PlayStation magazine. The developer director Rob Karp was actually talking about the PlayStation 5, talked about the DualSense, talked about how great and powerful the PlayStation 5 is, and this is what he had to say exactly. He says, and I quote, "The DualSense is great. When we got the tech demo up and running, the whole studio came around and everyone wanted to go. It offers something new and unique, and we felt it really fits well for racing, especially for a game with such diversity of content and cars. The power of the PS5 also means that we will have an option for 120 frames per second, which is very exciting for racers who know that every frame counts. Obviously, Dirt 5 is going to be out October 9th. It's going to be on the PS5, PS4, PC, Stadia, Series X, Xbox One, whoever else, and blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be pretty much on everything. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind that, the PS5 isn't going to come till after October, probably not till November or something. So you probably have a month or so to wait after that, and maybe a week. But, again, it's going to be doing 120 frames too. Now, is there going to be some other differences, maybe resolution slightly? Yes. Is there going to be options? Yes. But again, to assume that the PlayStation 5 can't do the same frame rates, or that Xbox Series X would somehow get double the frame rates or something, that's just kind of nonsense and fanboy wishful thinking. At the end of the day, developers do what they do best, and they're going to get the most out of these consoles as quickly as possible. And I think that a lot of people were just kind of jumping in without knowing what they're talking about. And I'm the first to admit that I'm not always the brightest when it comes to this stuff. I've been learning more, of course, but you also have to figure that developers who are actually working on these things are going to know a lot more than random YouTubers or anybody else, really. It's like I equate gaming nowadays and like YouTubers and bloggers to football fans, okay? I'm a football fan. So how many of you are football fans and, your team lost and you're like, oh, well, if the coach wouldn't have went for it on that fourth down, we would have won, right? That's basically you're being a backseat quarterback, right? Or a backseat coach, backseat driver, okay? You think you know better than what the coaches know, right? Or the manager of a baseball team. You think he shouldn't have bunted there, or he should have, right? We all put ourselves in these situations, okay? But trust me when I say none of us are in a better position to know what these consoles are capable of, what they should be doing, and what they will be doing than actual developers working on them and the hardware technicians that built these things. Those are the people you trust, right? Those are the people that I trust. If they're saying something, I'm going to listen up and pay attention, because those are the only ones that really know. Now, so we know the PlayStation 5 is going to be capable of doing 120 frames and more. We know the Xbox Series X will. We know that both consoles support 4K and up to 8K. Again, there's not this huge gulf in the difference between the two consoles. 16-18% is not a lot. It's not a lot, especially considering how Mark Cerny has come out and said, hey, our variable rates, they're going to always perform to the highest level. You don't even have to plan for it anymore. Developers don't have to do anything extra. It does it for you, okay? That's a completely different situation than what we've had in the past. So we're going to see a lot of similar games. I'm sure some people are going to go, well, wait till Digital Foundry comes out with their blah, 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 side-by-side technical mumbo-jumbo. Right, listen. If you have to rely on Digital Foundry or someone to tell you how many extra pixels are on one than the other, or how many blades of grass are on one than the other, does it really matter at that point? Honestly, no, of course not. Enjoy the games. Both are going to be these powerful consoles. Both are probably going to be $500. Really, it just comes down to the kind of content that you want on your particular platform. If PlayStation offers you what you like, then get a PlayStation. If you can only afford to get one, get one. If you prefer Xbox's games as a service and Game Pass, get Xbox. If you can get both, get both. But all I'm saying is, if you're expecting these huge differences between these platforms, you're probably going to be in for a for a pretty bad time. You know, just that's my advice anyway. So again, I will link this. You guys can check it out. Please let me know what you think. I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. Hopefully you guys all please stay safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you for joining me for one of my videos. I absolutely appreciate it. It means the world to me. Hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live MOH space Crapgamer, or PlayStation Network just Crapgamer. I try to respond to everybody, but just give me a little bit of time. So anyway, with that being said, game on, rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.